Here I am in the beautiful Lake District. This is the River Kent. There's some gorgeous rapids along here. I absolutely love this country. It's gorgeous. But anyway, this is a bit of a plea to the freedom movement. A lot of people aren't going to like what I'm going to say, but the only thing that matters is truth and aligning with it. If we don't, we cause suffering. So truth is the highest religion. That's all that matters, and that's what this message is about. Really is a matter of urgency, especially given the current state of affairs, the increasing totalitarian state, the Leveson report, etc, etc. Now, shadow work is all about being honest with yourself. It's about not lying to yourself and admitting when you are wrong and when you have made mistakes. Because when mistakes and wrongdoings are brought out into the open and accepted as being wrong and being a mistake, then the progression can start, and the healing and the moving forward. Now, I've been very publicly open about how I have basically pretty much wasted the last 4 years with freedom, so-called freedom groups and organisations, notices upon notices, you know, the conditional acceptance processes. Anyone who knows me knows that I've battled mortgage fraud, a completely fruitless exercise. There's no justice to be had in a civil court that doesn't even have a trial by jury, which means it's illegal and unconstitutional anyway. And it disheartens me when I hear people saying that, oh, I'm challenging this and I'm challenging that, and oh yeah, the court system, they can't cope with it, and they are using these excuses against us. And it's completely missing the point, because we're all challenging things that are all connected to an illegitimate system. It's illegitimate because it's based upon fraud, coercion and violence. And I sent out a message recently in various groups and I didn't get really any traction from it. And I'm going to read it out because I think it's important. Now, this is what I said. It will take psychological maturity to understand and accept the truth of what I'm about to state. Too many of us are dealing with the effects of slavery instead of the cause. Cause and effect are Hermetic principles of natural law. These principles govern our reality. No change can occur in the plane of effects, such as challenging council tax, mortgage fraud, evictions, utilities, etc, etc. These are all effects of slavery. All change occurs in the plane of causality. What are the causes of the current condition of human slavery? It is ignorance of these 2 points. 1. Ignorance of how natural law is the science of morality and how it governs the behavioural consequence of societies. 2. Ignorance of how our common law constitution is legitimate because it is self-governance under natural law through an ancient customary framework of equity called jury independence. Unless we are diligently learning and educating on the above 2 points, we have no right to moan about anything, because we would unintentionally be allowing tyranny to continue through inaction of the necessary requirements for freedom and self-governance. by not aligning our perception and behaviour with natural law, we create unintended consequences. Now that was the message, and I didn't really get any feedback at all from it. But if enough individuals understood that we need to end human slavery, which is basically a mental illness of the belief in illegitimate authority, because everything that the freedom movement are challenging stems from illegitimate governance. Once we restore legitimate governance, such as the constitutional rule of law, which is ruling through the conscience of the sovereign people through a trial by jury, then we can really start operating in harmony with the universe, and then the human potential is endless. So if enough of us put enough effort, as we do, in forming trust, challenging council tax, writing notices, and literally drowning in bureaucracy, as we could do in educating ourselves and each other on these critical issues, such as natural law and constitutional law, then maybe we might see some progress. So the solution isn't challenging every conceivable tyranny that the state is pushing on us. The solution is raising consciousness through education, but that requires effort and care. Care to put truth to action. And care is the overarching principle of all the Hermetic principles. We put our energy into what we care about. So if you don't care about what governs our reality, if you don't care about legitimate governance and your attention is elsewhere, then you're being manipulated. That's why aligning perception and behaviour with natural law is absolutely critical, because it reduces the likelihood that you will be manipulated. This is such important stuff, guys, and it's really cool when you get into it as well. It's so empowering, and I would just encourage everyone to study natural law, like Mark Passio's work, constitutional law, William Keats' work, and get stuck in there and really grasp the knowledge for yourself. And if we are going to challenge the system, use constitutional law, quote the articles of common law, because that's what binds government. That's what the Constitution was made for. It was basically saying, for the avoidance of doubt, this is our natural rights that exist inherently in nature. And it was putting reins on the administrative bodies that are basically doing the pen pushing. But it's been inverted to the point where the administrative bodies have claimed fake authority over the people that they serve. The people are sovereign through the jury, and the jury is a natural law tribunal where the universal conscience of mankind is applied to reach equitable outcomes, which is why it is in fact a shadow work in and of itself. It is a coming together, a meeting of the minds, and it is also a healing process, because everything is thrashed out, put on the table, and the conscience of our peers is applied on matters of justice and governance, and it's all dealt with properly instead of all this majority vote nonsense, which is completely overlaid conscience and reasonable doubt, essentially forming collectivism through the abdication of conscience. So there you go. I'll leave it there. Cheers.